All right, welcome back. And so now we've got a player, we've got a coin here. We are able to collect the coin. At least we're able to grab it and we get a nice little sound here, and the coin goes away. However, it would be nice to be able to keep track of this. One of the great ways of encouraging people to collect and to try your game again and again is to offer some kind of scoring system so you can keep track of all of these coins. And let's have a look at how to do that. First of all, we have the coin and it's going away, but we need some way of displaying that information. So I'm going to create a new scene here, and I'm going to make it like a heads-up display, or we could call it a coin display or something. I'm going to do a heads-up display. Often we have that kind of overlay that sits there. It could have lives, it could have coins, it could have time remaining, lots of different things you could put up there. And because I don't want to have it in a particular space, and then because I'm going to be moving around, I'd like to always see it. And fortunately, we have a nice node for that called a canvas layer. And a canvas layer is a node used for independent rendering of objects within a 2D scene. So the idea is that this sits kind of like a layer over top of the whole scene. It's independent. I mean, it's not part of or in your game. It sits on top of it. So it's a really handy feature. So I'm going to create this, and I'm just going to call it the HUD, the heads up display. And you'll see it has nothing on it at the moment, but we're going to add a place to get some coins. Um, so I'm going to add a new node, and this is going to be a label. A label node is just for displaying plain text like that. And I'm going to call this one coin count. Perfect. And it can sit right here. And you can see how a label works is it's just for basic text. You can type the text over here, coins 50 or whatever you want to have there. Uh, I'm just going to leave that so I can see it. And I don't want I don't want to just have to write the coins in there. I want the some kind of script to display that and to change it. So I'm going to add a script to my HUD. I like to, if I can, keep the scripts on the root node of a scene. So I'm going to add a new script just like so, and zoom in a little bit there. So at the beginning, I want this to say coins and then some kind of number. Oh, froze there for a second. So I'm going to say that I want to change the coin count. And we've learned before that we can access child nodes of any node that has a script on it by doing the $ and then the name of it. So I'm going to say $ coin count. I want to change the writing of this, and that's a property of coin count. So I can say text is the property, and I could make that equal to coins, put 0. And there we go. And if I were to say run this right now, well, it's going to ask me to save the HUD. You can see we get that coins 0 right there. However, I don't want coins to be 0. I want it to be however many coins I've got. So I need to keep track of that. And for that, we're going to introduce a new variable. And I'm going to say var coins collected. Let's try and make it meaningful. At the beginning, it equals 0. And so what I could do here, if I put coins collected like that, you're of course going to just see the word coins collected. I need to add the variable or tack the variable on like that, something. So what I can do is actually say plus coins collected. Now, this is unfortunately going to give me a bit of an error. It'd be really nice if I could just write it like that. But we're going to crash, and it's giving me a little error. It says invalid operands string and int in operator plus. Now, that is a very confusing way of basically saying you can't add the word coins to a number. You can take a word and add another word. For instance, I'll say hello. And this is just going to give us coins hello. It concatenates them. It adds them together there. And we can, of course, you've already done numbers and numbers. 5 plus 2 would give us the number 9, but I can't take a word and add a number to it, which coins it currently is. It's currently 0, coins collected, I should say. However, we can convert a number into a word using something called the string function. A word is in computer programming called a string. It's a string of letters together. So what I do is with the string function, I change temporarily coins collected into a word, and now I have the variable which I can then do math with, but I can also display coins 0. And if I put this into my level, let's instantiate the HUD. Make sure it's in the right spot there. Up in the top corner, let's have a look-see. There we go, and it pops up right up there. Now, at the moment it doesn't do anything when I collect it, so I need to change that. Oh, it became a child of coins, so let me move that over there. Great. So now that we have the HUD, it's displaying something, we need to change it every time I collect a coin. And you've got to be careful here because if I went into my HUD, it has a script on it, but if I wanted to link the signal, you see there's no signal there. And if I go over to my coin scene, open up my coin scene, if I went to the signal, which is on body entered here, and I said, well, I want to send a signal to the HUD, you'll notice I don't have that option because there's no HUD here in this particular scene. Now, there's a number of ways around it, but the simplest way I'm going to start here is just to say, well, I do have on my level this instance of coin, which is all in this scene. So if I were to take that particular instance of coin and double click on the signals, you can see that I can connect it up to any other script in this scene. But you have to be careful because this is not changing the main scene. This is only changing this instance, which is okay as long as we're aware of that. Because if I then add this to another level and do all sorts of stuff, that signal's going to be gone. It's not part of the main scene. In this case, this is the quickest way we can do this. If we grab a coin, I'm taking the signal from, and I want to send a signal to the HUD, I can connect that up there. And you'll see now we have 2 signals coming from when the player hits the coin. And on my HUD, you can see now I have a coin on coin body entered, so I can do something here, which is to say, well, I've just collected the coin. I want to send a note to the HUD to say, hey, coins collected equals coins collected plus 1. I'm adding 1 to my collection. Now, that'll change the variable. It won't necessarily change my display, so I better grab that line of code here because this line of code updates my display. And I'm going to say, well, once you've changed it, I want you to update that number of coins. And let's have a see how that looks. My coins are currently 0. I grab the coin and yes, perfect. So it works. One of them works, and that's another suggestion I'm going to have in your game development is make sure one thing works before you make 100 coins. Make sure the first one works before you duplicate it. There's no sense in duplicating something that is broken because then you're just going to have to get rid of them. But I know this first one works, so I'm going to go over here and hit Control D to duplicate 2 coins and move it over here to see if that works. And maybe we'll do a third one here just to see if I can get 3. And if I play my level, we've got our coins 0, coins 1, coins 2, coins 3, and we are golden. Now the last thing I want to look at is this coins is not really a great font. It's kind of tiny and it really doesn't have much of a personality. So let's go back to the HUD. And in my label, I would expect that there's some kind of setting here for font, which you're going to find there's not actually. It's a little bit odd, but it comes from an idea that we can create what's called a theme in Godot. And a theme allows us to at the beginning, set up all the look and feel for our game, including fonts, colors, schemes, things like that, and have it automatically apply to everything in our game. Now that takes a lot of work, and all I really want to do at the moment is just set up the font here. So I'm going to use what's called the theme override, which you can see allows me to change specific attributes of one particular thing. Now I've put a link on Moodle for some fonts, and you need to download the font that you want to use. And I have already grabbed that. It's called Curse of the Zombies font, true type font here. And so I am going to change this font, drag it over like this, and you can see that I get this Curse of the Zombies. Now or coins, sorry. You see just the C and the colon. You've got to be careful on the fonts you choose. Sometimes they don't always put all of the characters in. Sometimes they forget the numbers. In this case, it looks like the AES. I'm doing capital letters. They forgot the lowercase numbers there. So you can change the font there, and you can also now change the font size. I'm going to go for 24. That looks like a little bit bigger. So save my HUD, and if we go back to level 1, you will have seen that we've now got this nice new coins font here. I didn't update the HUD for some reason. And we'll go into level 1 here. There we go, it's back again. It may need to be a little bit bigger as well, but let's save that scene. Oh, and for some reason you know why? That's a great point. So I did change it. I changed the writing here, but you'll notice that in my script, I've actually made it lowercase. And in the script, lowercase. So my code was making a mistake there for me. And now we should have our nice new coins set up. I could make that even a little bit bigger, but there we go. Looks great. Maybe move it down a little bit. And now we have a heads-up display so we can start to compete and keep track of how many points we've got.